I'm Beth Ann.
What's up? I'm Ayla.
This is Let's Talk BL, a boys love podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. It is Sunday series, Sunday, that day of the week where we talk all things one series and one series only. And today's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion.
Yeah, I think so too. We've had quite a journey with this show because we were so lucky that when we were in Thailand, they had the blessing ceremony for this show and we got to go to it.
Right.
And we love Inflow. I've loved Inflow since I wouldn't shut up about Second Chance the series.
Yeah, I love Enflow. Enflow puts out quality, fun watches.
Yes.
An Enflow watch is always a fun watch. So if you're wondering what else Enflow has done, because I realize we talk a lot about companies and it's not necessarily accessible. Not everybody has memorized what
Right.
companies are behind everything. So
Right.
Coffee Melody, Enflow.
Yes. Second Chance the series.
Yes.
And now
Nhai. Yeah. And then they've got a handful for 2023 that are coming out.
So excited.
Yes. And so we're going to talk about Nhai today.
Yes.
And all of the boys that come along with it. And all of the men that come along with it.
So many.
Everything about this show.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. We're going to get into it.
Okay. Let's get to the nuts and bolts. It's 12 episodes. It's on IGE. Oh my God. Flashbacks.
You'd think by now.
I know. Again, it's done by Inflow. Fun fact, friend of the podcast, Run, was the screenwriter for this.
He was.
And
Let's Talk BL manager, Run.
Oh, love him. And fun fact, it was also directed by the same person that did La Cuisine.
Yes.
And Gen Y season 1 and 2.
And you guys know, I feel like if you listen to Let's Talk BL, or maybe you're new here, hi, hello, welcome.
Yes. We love Gen Y.
You have to know how we feel about La Cuisine and how we felt about La Cuisine. And one of our sweetest friends we met through La Cuisine, Mick.
Yes.
Who we hung out with in Thailand. He gave us a little chula situation. Go watch that vlog.
Yes.
It's very ridiculous. So, and we loved La Cuisine.
Yeah.
And the journey that was Gen Y seasons 1 and 2.
And we got to talk to this director at that worship ceremony.
And we had no idea.
One of my greatest regrets in life is not to be able to not have told that director how much we love La Cuisine. And how much we have questions about Gen Y season 1 and 2.
Listen, Beth Ann, it's fine because life goes on, love goes on.
I mean, if I could get something tattooed on my body, I think it would be life goes on, love goes on. Move aside.
That's cute.
Move aside.
Jude my Kutumba.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh no. But I feel like life goes on, love goes on is the new.
I swear to God,
love.
if we go back to Thailand, I'll get a Star Hunter tattoo.
Oh my God.
I'm publicly making this declaration. I'm not saying what it will be, what in relation to Star Hunter it will be.
The name God.
No. No, because that's a everybody knows that's a curse, right? That's when married couples get their names tattooed on each other, they get divorced.
Except for Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos.
But they had drama though. He cheated on her. It was a whole thing. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
I'm telling you, I remember hearing about this drama.
I don't remember it. I mean, they're still together, so even if they did cheat, who knows? Anyways. But yeah, that's funny.
But no, it will not be God's name.
Okay, so this is a spin-off because I was looking up is this a prequel? Is this a whatever? They qualified as a spin-off of Tanhan Chanlati.
Right, so it's in the Tanhan Chanlati universe.
Right,
it is very separate from Tanhan, obviously, because different productions,
the storyline,
different characters.
The storyline doesn't match up because in Tanhan Chanlati, Top Tap plays I and Mike plays Nhai. Yes. And in this storyline, I and Nhai are Tanhan and Chanlati are part of their friend group. So that doesn't match to the Tanhan storyline that we got.
Tan is, but Chan isn't because Chan comes in later. It's a whole thing in Tanhan Chanlati. But yes, it's in the same universe as Tanhan Chanlati is how I would explain it.
Yeah. Okay. We have Nhai, who is played by Ping. I mean,
this sweet little angel of a boy.
Lord. I mean, I, again, had no clue who really any of these boys were going into this.
I knew Ping going into this
And
because
I knew Meen because of Second Chance, or because of Love by Chance.
So I knew Ping because I am a shameless Atlas stan, and I had seen all of the Atlas, like back before they were Atlas. Right. They were Fornolog trainees. Fornolog is the company that Trinity came out of, and I had watched all of their Fornolog trainee stuff, and Ping was a Fornolog trainee. Right. And Ping still to this day is like little friends with them, and it's very cute. So I knew who Ping was. I had seen him perform. I had like seen Ping be Ping before going into this. And I was actually like kind of geeked out to meet him that day at the blessing ceremony. Yeah. Because of like the Atlas connection. Like that's what I was excited about.
And then Eyes, played by Meen, who was in the second season of Love by Chance. He played Meen's brother, who, that storyline is crazy because like he's married with a kid, but he's like actually gay, and his like high school like the boy he had a crush on in high school, he like pined after, and then he got a divorce from his wife, and then he like finally got to realize his gay love.
Right.
It was cute.
But Meen and Ping are a true revelation. Truly, these two together. Oh my god,
and they're giant.
Oh my. Like, oh yeah,
talk about tall.
They're gigantic. Like honestly, if you are an Atlas stan, if you're not, you should be. But you understand that like Erwin, right? Erwin is 6'5". These boys are barely shorter than Erwin. Like recently, Atlas and Meen and Ping were at like the same appearance. Yeah. And they all like stood in a line together and took pictures. And like Meen and Ping were barely shorter than Erwin, who is 6'5".
Insane.
And yeah, we met them and they like towered over us. We terrified them. Like very much they towered over us and were physically intimidating to us, but they might as well have been kittens because they were terrified of us. Like truly, these poor boys, they have PTSD from meeting us. Hundo P.
Honestly, I have looked at other photos of Ping meeting other people, and he just has that sweet face for everybody.
No, like he was like, seriously, if you look at those
deer
selfies,
in the headlights.
I don't think I've posted any of them because it really does look like we're holding them hostage.
No,
like it looks like they should be
awful.
It looks like they should be holding a newspaper that has like today's date to like prove, like truly, like amazing. Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the synopsis.
Okay, synopsis time. I studied abroad until, after being expelled for quarreling, his father forces him to return to Thailand, where he attends classes at the university where he teaches. There, I meets Chen Nhai, his new Harley Davidson riding classmate who has an obsession with a yellow duck keychain. I falls in love at first sight and a whirlwind romance ensues. True. Facts. Everything about this is factual.
I don't know if it's whirlwind.
I would say it's whirlwind because he like immediately, and also they move in together like immediately. Hilarious. So like, yeah, I would say it's pretty whirlwind.
You know what the new trope is? And I don't know if it's less problematic, but I think it's a way of keeping the trope without it being as problematic, is that the character now who's drunk is the one who goes after.
Oh, right. They're the aggressor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's where we've gotten with the drunk hookups, is that like, as long as the one who's intoxicated is the one like being the aggressive one, you're like, okay, like, right. What are you going to do? And
well,
so, yeah.
I mean, you put them to bed and you walk away. Actually, that's what, like, that's the appropriate reaction.
Yeah,
because anybody's wondering, like, there is something to do about that.
And then but in this situation, he's like, I can no longer hold back. He's like, if you provoke me, those lines in these shows honestly, are the funniest thing.
Okay. Listen, here's what I'll say about that is, shout out Gen Y, because this whole like, I can't hold myself back if you keep pushing at me, like this is the Bankbo storyline. Like in that moment, that is that first Bankbo hookup, is it not? Tell me it's not in Gen Y season 1. Tell me it's not. It's almost the exact same scene except less anger, like yes. Less like no toxic anger.
Yeah, there's no anger.
yeah.
He's just like Nhai is going through it over a girl, but I is so handsome that he has suddenly changed course.
Well, what I love about this scene, what I love so much about this scene is the next day, He's going through it. He's so upset, and you're
even
worried about
day,
him.
that like immediately after they have sex, because right there you see them in the shower together, and Ping just starts to cry.
Well, and the next day too, right? Because he's in his bedroom and he's like,
Yeah.
he's like going through it. And what I love about it is he's going through it, and you think, like, you as a viewer, or at least I as a viewer, thought, I was like, oh no, like, he realized what happened, he regrets it, like, he's upset, he's like struggling with his sexuality, like all of this stuff, like.
Yeah.
And no. He's upset because he's like, I made my friend have sex with me.
Yeah.
Like, he fully is like, I was the aggressor. He's like, am I the drama?
Yeah, he's like, what does this mean? He's like, I don't understand. I really liked this, right? Like, after he does all his Google, or like, no, I think before he does his Google searching, he's sitting there and he's like, I really liked it. What does that mean? And so the Google search, he's like looking up what, like, it's like, it was like, if you find your friend handsome, that doesn't mean you're gay. And if you hook up with your friend one time, that doesn't mean you're gay. And it was like, and if you want to be with someone of the same sex, maybe you are trans. And he's like trying to figure out exactly what it means that he had sex with his friend.
I think it's funny that, like, he actually doesn't really care. Like, he's not really trying to figure it out. He more so is trying to, like,
he just has no clue.
He's going through it over, he thought he made his friend have sex with him and he didn't want to. Like, that's a part he's going through it over. And I kind of like that he never really does have this, like, self-loathing moment, right? Like, where, like, typically in situations like this, there's like a self-loathing moment, which is real. Like, that's very real. Yeah. But it was kind of like interesting to see him just like research it, and then he goes and talks to his family friend who owns that bar.
That's a cute
which
scene.
Is really sweet. And he kind of is like, well, I am who I am. I like what I like. Like, this is what it is. He doesn't try and like analyze it too much. He just accepts it about himself, which is like kind of a cool trope.
Which I like how they handle that conversation with his like gay sage, his like gay mentor, right?
Yes.
That guy that he has the conversation with, where he's like, we kissed right here. Like, we had a moment right here. And the guy's like, so what do you like? Do you like him? Like, do you think he's cute? Like, do the thing. And he's like, okay. He's like, but what if he doesn't like
right, that's what he's
person?
Going through.
Like,
he's going through it over.
He doesn't want to break up with him.
Over I.
Right.
Like, he's going through it over like how I feels and what I thinks and what he's done to I, not necessarily, which is like kind of, you don't really see that often.
No.
And so like, it's just really cute. I enjoyed that. I thought that part was cute. I overall did really like this series. What I will say about it is it was stupid. Like, it was dumb. Like, this is a dumb series. But
it's so entertaining and so enjoyable. This is one I will rewatch as like a show in the background when I like have nothing else to watch and I'm like, I want to put on a show just to like enjoy something.
Well, but I guess where I was going with that when I first said that was that, like, this show is so stupid. It's so ridiculous. The storyline is like, it's like a nothing storyline almost. Like, there is a storyline there. There is something to follow.
There's a twist. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Spit all over me.
You know.
The disrespect that I get. There is a storyline. There is something to follow. And it's kind of nice because it actually is written more like a sitcom where there's a conflict and a resolution every single episode. So if you missed the last episode, it's actually no big deal. Like, you don't really miss out on too much context. There is a little bit of context with the family stuff that you do need to like watch the earlier episodes, but not so much that it would be distracting, which is kind of nice to have it for like a background show. But the best thing about this show is that it's so stupid. It is absolutely not required watching. It is not essential watching.
No.
But the writing is what gives this show life, because this show could be so cheesy and just like so over the top and ridiculous. But what I love so much about the writing on this show is that anytime things get a little too cheesy, one of the boys, either I or Nhai, always has like a witty retort to like bring it back around, and they almost break the fourth wall where they like point out how stupid and cheesy and like TV romance that is.
Right.
And I love that, especially because like there's this undertone of sarcasm in a lot of it, which I like so much and I think is so hard to write. And I think people might miss if you don't really know what you're watching.
Right.
But the writing on this show truly is genius and truly is what keeps it from being like a Rainbow Prince. Like, I hate to say it that way, but it keeps it from being one of those just like terrible shows, is the way that the dialogue specifically is written. And Meen and Ping, obviously. Like, Meen and Ping together are just magic.
Also, the sincerity at which they deliver these lines, I think, is what carries it too, because Nhai calls I hubby after they've like decided to pursue this relationship, and the way he just says hubby so like straight faced, like he doesn't say it with any like affection really. He's just like hubby. He's like, that's your name now, like that's what I'm gonna call you.
Yeah, you mentioned that while we were watching this, and I was like, most of the couples I know, I am in a couple, and like it's just a word you use. It's just like somebody's name, like pet names.
I've heard pet names be used affectionately within the college setting. Like,
I was gonna say, yeah, like, and that's like for you like a while ago now. So it's been a while like, since
when you're young in relationships. I've known my experience for people that were in relationships in college, if they had a pet name for each other, right? Like that's why they're called pet names, because you like say them with this like affection.
I don't know. Like, I feel like even I think it depends on how long the couple has been together. Because like even when I was a teenager, there were like the new couples. New couples are always unbearable.
Yeah.
New couples are always unbearable.
Right.
But also I think that is like kind of just like that is who they are as characters, because like we're talking about two people that moved in together immediately, and that like and who like got brought into the like insane family drama that was happening with like honestly, shout out Nhai for sticking around through all of that, because I would actually, this is one of my favorite moments in the whole show, where like I's mom is super mean to him and is a total asshole to him. Yeah. And he takes the food that she's brought and he's like, I'm just going to go eat this in the courtyard. Yeah. He doesn't call Nhai or anything. No. He just like, or he doesn't call I or anything. Nhai just like takes the food and just goes and eats the food. And he's like, I'm eating this because your mom was rude to me and I don't like her. And like, he just like is totally like, he's not going through it. So he's not like, how do I save my boyfriend from this like, evil woman? No, he's so perfect about it. He's like, your mom sucks. I'm gonna eat this food, but your mom sucks. And like Nhai is so concerned. He's like, are you okay? I was really worried she was gonna be mean to you. And he's like, yeah, she was mean to me, but like, I don't know, she sucks. Like, he's not going through it at all. He's not worried about Nhai at all. It's so he's funny. Like, this is your problem, not mine, which like I love.
Going back to the writing of this show, kind of what you were talking about, there's sarcasm, but there's also like this drama, that the way that Nhai delivers, that Ping delivers these lines, because like Nhai is constantly going through it, right? Like he's constantly going through it over like hooking up with his friend and over this like relationship, and he's the one that gets jealous that I has talked to this girl, because like they're still in that like trial relationship moment, right? And we've gotten to the scene where like they are finally gonna have this confession, and basically I has told Nhai that he likes him, like he wants to be with him. It was Nhai's idea to have this like trial relationship. And so he's just waiting for Nhai to tell him, I like you, I want to be with you. And he's like, let's do this thing. And so finally they have this moment where they've both said, this is funny because if you know, we're fluent in the Thai. And if you know Thai, in the show, they both say, I love you. They say, they say Gi Cha Mung, right? Like the most familiar
Gu Cha Mung.
Yeah, the most familiar titles that you can use with people. So they both say I like you. I love that they subtitled it I love you.
Right. Well, I mean, there is like typically, like I have noticed, like in Thai, like telling someone you like them is almost like more gravity, because it means something. If you like a person, like they don't use it in the same way where I'm like, oh yeah, I like him, he's cool. Right. Where like for us in English, it could be like totally platonic,
which is you see in K-dramas too. Like when I first got into K-dramas, I was like, you've already said you loved each other, but like you're now telling each other you like each other. I don't understand. But the dialogue that I really loved, Nhai is laying on the bed because they've like had this moment where they're like, I like you, and they of course like go into an NC scene, and he goes, And if we're together and make love often, if we break up, I will surely die.
Yeah. Oh, the drama in some of these lines, like every time I would be like, run, you're my hero. There's another one. Okay, one of my favorite lines in any BL ever at this point, like truly, like I might get this tattooed on my body. He goes, "You've done black magic on me."
Yeah.
I wish I had written this down, but like I almost have it memorized. He's like, "You've done black magic on me. I want you to love me or want me and no one else."
Yeah.
And like it's like so insane. I'll go look at them. I'll put it in the description. I should have written it down, but like it's one of the best lines. He's like, "Oh, you seduced me." Like it's so it's amazing. It's a great line.
Meen and Ping kill the show, but let's talk about some side characters.
Portia and Arm.
Portia Arm.
Portia and Arm, first of all, are just wonderful human beings.
Yes.
Again, go watch our interview with Portia and Arm. Like Arm pops in, which is like a fun surprise for us.
We had no idea that Arm was going to be acting for the first time.
Well, we did.
He tells us in the interview.
Well, no, we already knew because the cast had already been. Like that's why
I didn't know. I didn't remember.
But we talk if you watch the interview,
we're
the ones that bring it up.
Yeah. But we had
so you did know.
But we hadn't invited Arm as well because like Portia was the person that we were talking to,
and the show hadn't come out, and we didn't have any details about I Long Nhai back when we recorded that interview. But like you definitely knew he was going to be acting because we bring it up to them.
Yes. But he wasn't supposed to be in the interview, so it was a fun little moment that like they both joined the interview. So yeah, Portia Arm and this are fun because Arm, the way that they style Arm and the way that he plays this character is so sassy and so like I feel like this character is true to who he is because the whole show they are fawning over Arm's character.
I will say Arm is it is on some level very true to Arm, but the Arm that I've experienced and talked to, way more down to earth, way more like accessible.
But I'm talking about as far as like people, like the second we got out of that Portia Arm interview, we were both like, oh my god, Arm.
Yeah, Arm he's so charming,
like,
and he's
I understand
so
people like fawning over him.
Nice and cute, and just like he's a really good guy. Both Portia and Arm are just like really, really good people. But I love Jiaonan. That's Arm's character in the show.
Yes.
I love Jiaonan. I think he is wonderful. I love that he basically like he calls Nhai out for being a little asshole during the whole drama of like him donating his kidney to his sister. That whole and he's like stumbled out of the hospital and was wandering the streets of Bangkok like a psycho.
There was
and
so
I
much.
just like I love the way he plays that. I love the dynamic between Jiaonan and Nhai. I think is so cute and fun because like after I met Arm, I too was like, I need to hang out with Arm again. I need to talk to Arm again. I am also a big fan of Arm. I just like talking to Arm. Like I fully like I just felt it on like a soul level.
I like how he's the one that will like protect Nhai. He's the one that like will go to bat for him, it seems, right? Like he hides behind Arm because nobody can be mean to Arm. Like nobody can like be upset with him. So like if Nhai does if I do something wrong, I is hiding behind Jiaonan. Right when Portia's character goes to pull him from that international school, he's like, "No, I didn't bring Jiaonan. Like you have to face me."
At the very beginning, he's like, "No, it's just me. Jiaonan's not here," and he's like, "Damn."
Oh, yeah, so good.
Yeah, and I love Portia's character in this too. Like I think he's amazing, and the way that he like. I fully believe him as a dad.
Yeah.
Like the things that he says and does and the way that he like, especially during the storyline with Nhai's mom and that whole situation, the way that he handles that, I just felt like is in a lot of ways how my dad might handle a situation like that. And so I was like, he feels very natural to me as a dad. Like I really believed their dynamic is like father and son. I just thought it was so good.
They had like a sweet family vibe and I enjoyed their interactions, especially after the plot twist of the mom convincing I to donate his bone marrow, and then he runs away from the hospital
and he leaves the hospital,
and then we find out that Portia's character has followed him this whole time because he was afraid that like something bad would happen.
He was watching over him, but he understood that was his son's mom and his son had the freedom and like the autonomy,
but he knew it was going to
decide for his own body.
And at that point I had yelled at his dad's because his mom had like gaslit.
Convinced him, that Jiaonan had like broken up their family.
It's so good.
So good.
Okay, the other side couples were interesting in this show because like you didn't get a ton of like time.
They were just like
them.
cute little pop-ins. It was more of like they were like side quests where it's like I feel like it almost was like, well, if this did really, really well and we wanted to do a spinoff, there was enough mystery still there that they definitely could still have their own series and it wouldn't be like too much. It wouldn't be like, oh my God, I've already seen this whole story.
Right. So we get Games and Nice playing two characters that meet in a bar. And then Games' character like leaves for 6 years.
Yeah, Games is like, bye. Like
immediately. He's like the brother of the screenwriter, and Ren was like, "Here, give him a job." And he's like,
I listen. Games is adorable though. Like Games is the cutest boy.
Do you know who's also adorable?
Fluke.
Go watch Project Alpha. It is incredible.
Fluke is adorable. Fluke also, not to spoil it, but he is an alpha. So like if that makes a difference for you on whether or not you want to watch Project Alpha.
And Jom and Fluke were the first two boys that we talked to at that Ilong Na press conference. And they were very sweet because they spoke zero English. And we had a translator or one of the production people was helping us translate.
The executive producer and CEO of the company.
Yes. And Jom and Fluke were very sweet because they were very excited. I think that like we were international fans talking to them about the show.
Jom was very sweet. I have
sweet.
liked him. Like I already liked him. I liked him from Coffee Melody. Mm-hmm. And so like I was excited to meet him. Yeah. And Fluke was really sweet. Like Fluke was kind of reserved, but they were the cutest little things.
They were. So yeah, they were a funny side couple. Because I don't even remember, like they met and then there wasn't much development.
They met and then we didn't really see them again for the most part. Like we saw them separately, very separate.
And then again we got a little bit from Gun and Save, who played Tanhan and Chan during the like camping situation,
right? And we
get like a mountain frolic
and we get back on track with the Tanhan Chanlati storyline that we are all like familiar with, which is that like Chanlati has come to town and Tanhan is like, oh, like, of course he likes me, right? Like, you see kind of the background where, like, if you watch the GMMTV Tanhan Chanlati, you know that the whole time Tanhan has known that Chan had a crush on him. And so, like, by the time we get to the camping episode, the Tan and Chan dynamic is back on track, like that would match what happened in the GMMTV version. If that's something you care about, although I don't think it should be something you care about.
Right. Also, I love that the duck storyline was so much a part of this show.
Except that it wasn't.
Up until they like decided to totally drop it. The basis
and then they bring it back in the very last episode.
The basis of the duck is really funny. Yeah, it's the reason that they meet, I guess, or the reason that they interact.
The reason they first start talking.
Yeah. Because Nhai has told his dad that he likes a girl, and the dad's like, take care of this keychain and you can pursue this girl.
Right, because it'll prove you, because I guess he's like irresponsible and flighty and like very much like he's always breaking things and like all this stuff. So another trope that we see in this show that has become a trope in a couple of shows lately is that when one character is drunk or just not fully aware of what's going on, is another character will have this like imagination fantasy of what they could do to them during this situation, but then they don't actually play it out because like the other person's like passed out. And it's become this like trope that I've seen in one other show recently where they like have the urges, right? Like, because if you're in this situation and you're like, I want to hook up with this person, but they're intoxicated or they're passed out, like I'm not going to go through with not
it.
Appropriate.
But like you still get the NC scene because like
they in their mind,
and then they come out of it and you're like, oh God, it didn't actually happen.
Yeah, you're like, thank God. Yeah.
So yeah, this show had all the tropes.
Another trope,
all the things.
A new trope, and I really like that this is a new trope that is starting to come through more and more. We get a girl who we think is going to be evil, but then she's not evil. This has started happening more and more in shows. I think that writers have started realizing that like the evil girl situation, while true in some cases, like we don't need to be scapegoating and demonizing any like one single gender, sexuality or whatever. So like I kind of love that because they do position this girl at first as though she's going to be a demon.
Right.
And if we remember from GMMTV Tonhanchanlati, holy cow, that girl was an evil girl, right?
Yeah.
And so like you're really waiting for it. Like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I love the moment where we realize she's not going to be crazy because it's the basketball game, right? Where he's fallen and he's hurting himself and all this stuff. And we get some ointment action. And she walks up and she basically goes, "Oh, I see what's happening here. Never mind." And she's like, "Peace, I'm out."
Yeah.
I love it.
Which I feel like is more true to life.
For sure.
Like,
as soon as you
yeah.
like you I have been in this situation a couple times. And yeah, as soon as you like realize
You're like, this ain't about me.
Yeah, you're like, well, that's never gonna happen. Like you never like you're always like, well, okay, I guess that's never gonna happen. Okay, like you move on, like you just there is no like second guessing it there, and there's no anger.
You
really.
Can't turn a boy straight,
right? And you don't think that you can either. Right. Like you don't assume that like there's still a chance. I don't know. It's wild.
Go watch I Long Night.
Or don't, honestly, or don't. I will say, like, it's fun, but it's definitely not required viewing. What I love about it is it's one of those things where you can have on when you're doing something else. So, like, for example, I told a story back when we did What Zab Man, where I was watching this show and I was doing something else. I was editing something, I was photoshopping something. And I look back up at the TV screen and all of a sudden Bank and Bonus are being chased down an alley by somebody with a cleaver and they're like getting hot and heavy in the alleyway. But before that, they hated each other. So I'm like, how did we get here? And I like had to rewind and be like, the nice thing about I Long Night, this is not one of those shows.
Never happen.
Like literally you can miss like bits and pieces and it's still like you can keep up with the storyline, and there's enough of a storyline that it's not completely stupid.
No.
But there's not so much of a storyline that you have to like dissect it.
Yeah. I enjoyed this show. There were many moments where you like just giggle.
Yeah, and there's more to it than just the romance, which I like. Yeah. Like I like when there's more to it than just like boy meets boy, boy pursues boy, boy and boy get together, right? Like you have the whole crazy mom situation, and you have the like game night situation, you have the side couples getting together, and you have the drama with Jiaonan and I forget Portia's character's name. Daddy.
Yeah.
you have the drama with Jiaonan and Daddy, and like how Jiaonan like got Daddy and all of this, right? Like you have all of that. You have the drama with like there's a situation where he's like always getting lost.
Yes.
Nhai is. And so like you have that sort of like slapstick comedy, and then there's like drama with the sister, and then there's also like a situation where like there's this like domesticity where like at some point he gets mad at him, and so he decides that he's gonna break the washing machine. But then he feels bad that he's broken it. So what he's done is he put the plant in the washing machine, and then he tries to wash it because he feels guilty that he's like done this to the plant. But then it actually turns out he just truly accidentally breaks it.
Yeah.
Like
I comes into his apartment and they're like broken eggs everywhere and the washing machine is messed up, but come to find out like Nhai wasn't mad at him. He just accidentally did all that stuff. Like he was
mad at him
around the apartment.
He was mad at him at first, but then all of that wasn't in rage. It was like an accident. It was him just like bumbling around like an idiot.
And this show has fun friends. They the fun friends get a good amount, especially in the beginning of this show. I love the moment when they're confronting about what him and Nhai are, because they're like, we just want to know, like, are you? And he's like, yeah.
I love the little side conversation they have where they're like, no, you're wrong, there's no way.
There was an interesting line that I thought when Daddy Porsche is talking to I, and they've had this conversation because I and Nhai have gotten to the point where they're dating, and they're like, I wants to tell people, and Nhai is like, why? We don't have to announce it. And I has had this conversation with his dad where his dad says a relationship shouldn't disrupt the other person's daily life. Like you should come in and just be a part of it. And I was like, oh, that's like such a sweet way of being like, we don't have to make some grand announcement. Like I shouldn't want this for us just because like I want to announce to the world that I'm with him.
Right,
if
because
that's
it's like not about
things.
you.
Yeah.
It like in a relationship, it's not about one single person.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's such a sweet moment. This show has such good heart. It has heart.
And it
like,
has great, right? The dialogue in this show is great. Honestly, shout out to Run, shout out to Enflo for making just like a good, sweet show that like has more to it than just the romance, but that isn't so deep that you have to like, I don't know, figure out like a family tree and you're not like Charlie in the mailroom with the red thread situation, right? So like this is a good show. Watch
fun.
it if you want to watch it.
Yeah.
It's not required viewing, but it's a good one. I cannot wait to see what Meen and Ping do next.
Me too. They've already announced that there's another show in the works for them, so that'll be fun. I can't wait to see what Porsche Arm does next.
I know.
Arm apparently has quit his day job and is going into acting or something full time. I don't know if he's going into acting, but like Porsche Arm do their like YouTube channel.
And they have the bakery.
Oh, yeah, if you're in Thailand, definitely
order from that bakery.
It's so good.
Oh my god, it's delicious.
Next time we will definitely be ordering whatever we can. And I can't wait to see what Enflo has for us in 2023.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yes.
This has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and keep up with all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.
Bye.